Welcome, B-movie fans, to this week's episode of Hypothetical Movie. Today, we will be discussing what would happen if Rambo, everyone's favorite POW, faced off against the ultimate hunter in the universe, Predator. I'm Paul.
And I'm Corey.
So, how would this situation play off? I'm thinking the first thing that would happen would be the military comes to Rambo again, saying, "We have a situation, Rambo, that we can't take care of, despite all the other soldiers we have. You're apparently the only one who can take care of this." So Rambo, once again retired in another country, is forced to go and help in the situation against the Predator. And the Colonel's kidnapped, like in the third one. So yeah, gives a motivation right there.
Did the Predator rip out the Colonel's skull and spine and stick it on his wall as a trophy?
Yeah, sure.
Is that why they're calling Rambo out this time?
He finds out, and like they bring back his old bloody uniform, and now he's pissed because he knows that the Colonel is dead, and he needs to get his revenge for America. So, how would this play out? Rambo is armed to the teeth with guns. And Predator, well, is Predator. He's got all his otherworldly guns.
He's got his fucking shoulder blaster and his wrist blades and his javelin and his light bending camouflage shit and his nuclear armband.
Oh yeah, I feel like Rambo would be able to figure out where he's at regardless of being invisible, because Rambo's all super military guy. So he'd be like, "Oh, I hear him in the distance," you know. There's some leaves shaking over there.
So where? So he had to go to like a forest or something.
Probably like a forest in the middle of probably like Cambodia or something like that. Cambodia sounds about right.
Okay.
All right, so Rambo's all like, "I'm going to kill this Predator for the Colonel," and he goes there and he starts off by making a bunch of traps. He's got like branches that he sharpened to be like blades, kind of like in the first one where he sets up the police officer with the trap, and he's got all these things set. However, he doesn't expect that the Predator has his own tricks, like the weapons you mentioned before. So
And the net gun.
Exactly. So let's say for sake of the movie that he doesn't quite know that he doesn't know the Predator is invisible, or he was told the Predator is invisible, because I'm sure they did some kind of intel beforehand before letting Rambo go off there. So he has an idea of it, but he's not sure, and he hears leaves crumpling. So he shoots his machine gun at them, and there's nothing there. It was like, I don't know, an animal. So then he's walking, and then bam, he gets punched right in the face and goes flying by an invisible thing. Turns out the Predators knew he was there because they're fucking Predators.
Wait, we've got more than one Predator now?
No, it's just the one.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa, we're stepping it up here a little bit.
I mean, there could be. For the sake of the podcast, let's pretend this is like basically around the time or during the first film. Like, you know, Carl Weathers is there, Arnold Schwarzenegger's there, you know,
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Exactly. They're all just chilling out, like trying to hunt the Predator, and it's not going too well for them.
So they got Rambo on the team now too.
Oh yeah, and him and Arnold Schwarzenegger's characters start fighting about who's the action hero in this situation. But we all know Rambo would win that one. Rambo's all like, we need to set up some traps, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "No, we can't. We need to beat him in a fight, 1-on-1."
He is just a pussy.
Yeah. And Carl Weathers is like, "Well, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here because I'll let you guys argue this one. I'm gonna go
bust some ghosts or something."
Exactly. So Carl Weathers is all like, actually, yeah, he decides he's going to go with Rambo because he's like, this Arnold Schwarzenegger guy's an idiot, so I'm not going to follow him. I'm going to follow, the guy with actual, who was a POW, took down a bunch of police officers and went back to Vietnam. He seems like the guy for me to work with. So Arnold Schwarzenegger goes his way to fight the Predator, and Carl Weathers and Rambo decide that they're going to set up some traps for the Predator and do their own thing. All right, so we got Carl Weathers and Rambo. They've got a bunch of old school kind of traps, and they're both armed to the teeth. They got knives, they got guns. They're feeling pretty good about this. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger's walking away with his machine gun, like, fuck these guys. I don't need them. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can do whatever I want. I was governor of California. So he's walking away, and he runs into the Predator, who's not in camouflage. He's like, it's one guy. I could take him. So then those two get into a fist fight and everything. Because the Predator's tired of just like hunting from a distance. He wants a good fight. So they start beating the shit out of each other. And then it turns out that Arnold Schwarzenegger is actually the Terminator the whole time. So we've got the Terminator versus Predator. But the Terminator didn't plan anything because he didn't listen to Rambo or Carl Weathers. So he ends up walking into a minefield of bombs from space that the Predator set up, and he gets blown to pieces, thus ending the Terminator's plot and the plot of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Terminator didn't plan on alien technology being a factor in the 1980s.
No, he tried, but his...
If only Kyle Reese had that kind of technology.
Exactly. The robots took care of all aliens in the future, so they never actually had to worry about them.
So we've got Carl Weathers and Rambo wandering through the forest, setting up their traps and shit. And Rambo's like, "Hey, Carl, this guy, he likes to hide, so we're gonna hide too. We're gonna put some camouflage on ourselves so that we can ambush his ass."
Pretty much. Carl Weathers is like, all right, man, I'm just here for the ride, basically, And so they're like cover themselves in mud and all that, and make camouflage. But it turns out the Predator has
heat vision.
Yeah, heat vision, and it doesn't work out at all. So they're getting shot at. Carl Weathers like jumps out of the way, and Rambo,
trees are exploding, and
yeah. And Rambo just barely makes it out of that situation. And but luckily, Rambo's got his whatchamacallit,
knife, bow and arrow.
But yeah, his bow and arrow, yeah. And he shoots at the Predator. But of course, it does nothing because it's a bow and arrow against Predator armor. So shit, what the hell is Rambo gonna do? He's used to fighting armies, but not an army of one. So then Carl Weathers is like, damn, how am I gonna beat this alien? I mean, clearly this crazy POW didn't know what he was talking about. So he decides to take matters into his own hands, and he grabs his gun and just starts blasting at the Predator. But
and then the Predator shoots both of his arms off with his shoulder cannon, and thus ends the legacy of Carl Weathers.
His boxing career was over. R.I.P. Apollo Creed. And so now it's one-on-one. It's Rambo versus the Predator. Rambo's now in a mud puddle, which he accidentally fell into, but it worked out really well. And that's basically his camouflage. And for some reason, he's in such deep mud that the heat vision of the
Obscures.
Predator, doesn't actually work.
Because the mud is cool.
Exactly. So he doesn't know where he is, and Predator at this point, he's being arrogant. He's like, I'm going to turn off my cloaking device and just find this crazy motherfucker. So he's walking through the mud. He's looking. And then bam, Rambo drags him down into the mud, and they start punching the shit out of each other. And then they like manage to somehow get out of that. But before that, Rambo rips off the Predator's cloaking device cloak thing. And now neither of them can hide because, they're now exposed in the wilderness, and Rambo's got the mud all over him, but that's not going to help out with the trees and shit. So, and the Predator can no longer go invisible.
So then Rambo pulls out his knife, and he's like, "I'm gonna gut you, man." And the Predator goes, and like pulls out his fucking wrist blade things.
Suddenly, Rambo starts having a flashback to back in Vietnam. and he starts like screaming and everything, and he goes in Rambo rage mode and starts just attacking the Predator head on.
And the Predator's on the defensive. It's all he can do to just swat away Rambo's knife with his wrist blades. Just, parry and, dodge.
Oh yeah. But I feel like the Predator's like has a slight strength advantage, so he manages to knock Rambo out of the way. Thus, and Rambo hits his head on a rock, thus knocking him back into sense. Like, man, I can't do this again. Back in the first movie, it didn't end well for me. I got arrested and was killed in the book. So, I have to have a clear head. So he starts like running into the woods. He gets a bunch of like sticks and stuff, and now he's got his camouflage. Lucky for him, he relies on wilderness and not for the Predator, not on his technology. So the Predator is like at a disadvantage. Like, he makes that weird sound again. However that goes. Yeah, that, which means, oh shit, I shouldn't rely so much on technology. I should have stayed in the Boy Scouts back when I was a kid, but it's too late now. So the Predator's looking for Rambo, and he still has his heat vision stuff, and he's looking around, and he sees finally in the distance, because Predator forgot to look a while back because he was too distracted by the fact that he no longer had his cloaking device, that to realize how far Rambo had gotten. So he's marching in there. He's like, I'm going to get this motherfucker. I've got the advantage in strength and technology. I'm going to get him. But then he sets off one of Rambo's traps.
And a log comes hurtling down, swinging from tree to tree.
Luckily, Predator was strong enough to knock them away. However, in his arrogance, he kept walking and walked right into a string, which set off a bunch of spears, which made out of sticks, branches and all that. Let's go hurtling toward the Predator, and Predator's like knocking them all away, trying to just to survive. And then Rambo comes out of nowhere, right behind him, because he tends to do that, covered in mud like a badass, with his machine gun, and starts blasting the Predator right in the back. So he's getting hit with the wooden spears, and he's getting shot in the back by Rambo. Oh shit, this is a bad situation to be a Predator right now. So after that, the Predator's down. He's not dead because of all of his armor, but he's not doing too well. So Rambo takes out his knife, and he's like, "This is for the Colonel, motherfucker," and bam, jams it right into the Predator's skull. Anything you want to add to that, Corey? Is Predator dead? Did he somehow survive?
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, unless Dr. Herbert West just happens to be in Cambodia and like reanimates the Predator.
Yeah, we'll save that for another one. Herbert West right now, he's just trying to figure out why he's in Cambodia. So that is how Predator or Rambo versus Predator would play out. I'm Paul.
And I'm Corey.
And join us next week for another hypothetical movie.
Until next time, be brave, be alive, and be back for more.